Enough, Enough, Enough by Dr. Syed Nazir Jilani. Those who attend the debates at United Nations are familiar with the fact that all circulated statements by speakers, whether heads of states, state representatives or NGO representatives, carry a caution check against delivery. The statements circulated by Mahmoud Abbas, President of the State of Palestine, at United Nations General Assembly's 66th session in New York on September 23, 2011 is an example of this caution. President Abbas's statement reads, "I come before you today from the Holy Land, the land of Palestine, the land of divine messages, ascension of the Prophet Muhammad, SAW, and the birthplace of Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, to speak on behalf of the Palestinian people in the homeland and in the diaspora, to say, after 63 years of suffering of an ongoing Nakba, enough. It is time for the Palestinian people to gain their freedom and independence." True to the caution and more true to his people, he did not restrain his warning enough to single expression but repeated it 3 times during his address. Enough, enough, enough was received with rapturous applause and support by the delegates. There are lessons for the people of Kashmir if they have a desire to be true to their cause and learn from Palestinian people and leadership. The first lesson is faith in your own cause. President Abbas, while advocating his cause, said our people will continue their popular peaceful resistance to the Israeli occupation and its settlement and apartheid policies and its construction of the racist annexation wall, and they receive support for their resistance, which is consistent with international humanitarian law and international conventions and has the support of peace activists from Israel and around the world, reflecting an impressive, inspiring and courageous example of the strength of this defenseless people, armed only with their dreams, courage, hope and slogans in the face of bullets, tanks, tear gas and bulldozers. Palestinians are armed only with their dreams, courage, hope and slogans in the face of bullets, tanks, tear gas and bulldozers, and it made it possible that the leader of the Palestinians before his address to the UN submitted to Ban Ki-moon, Secretary-General of the United Nations, an application for the admission of Palestine on the basis of the 4 June 1967 borders, with Quds Sharif as its capital, as a full member of the United Nations. He called upon the distinguished members of the Security Council to vote in favor of their full membership. He also appeals to the states that have not yet recognized the state of Palestine to do so. As a routine which unfortunately had turned more stale this year, Mirwais remains the lone Kashmiri leader on the sidelines of the 66th session of UN General Assembly in New York. The other possible components who could have been resourced to complete this routine could not turn up in New York because Nazir Ahmad Shaul and Abdul Majid Trumbu are named in the FBI affidavit lodged in the criminal complaint brought against Dr. Ghulam Nabi Vai. It embeds that they could be arrested if they fall within the jurisdiction of U.S. authorities. It is unfortunate that Mirwais continues to agree to be the symbol of this routine and a political narrative which has no merit. He has spoken on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly session to OIC Contact Group on Kashmir. Before arriving in New York, he was able to see the Black Benchers debate on human rights on the Indian subcontinent initiated by Steve Baker, Conservative Member of Parliament from Wickham. The litmus test of the success and failure of a debate in the British Parliament could be gauged from the fact that the debate in the British House of Commons on Kashmir was not reflected in the speech of British Prime Minister who spoke at the UN General Assembly. The other failure could be ascertained by the fact that although Mirwais addressed at least 3 members of OIC Contact Group on Kashmir, namely Turkey, Saudi Arabia and Niger, yet neither Turkey nor Niger made any reference to Kashmir in their address to the UN General Assembly. I could not say much about Saudi Arabia. Pakistan has yet to speak, because it has not addressed the UNGA by the time I am writing this column. However, it is certain that Saudi Arabia would not behave any different to Turkey and Niger, and there would be no reference to Kashmir. The political narrative of Mirwais seems to be out of his control, restrained and out of touch with his people. We have made every effort to make independent inputs to assist him to represent defenseless people, armed only with their dreams, courage, hope and slogans in the face of bullets, tanks, tear gas and bulldozers. It would be an exaggeration to quote President Abbas in entirety in respect of Kashmir. Indians have not used any tanks, or bulldozers so far except when its forces have surrounded any house suspected of harboring an armed militant. One would have hoped that his political narrative in Geneva, London and New York would reflect our national wisdom and represent Kashmiri people who are armed with their dreams, courage, hope and slogans in the face of bullets. The merits of Kashmir narrative supported by Islamabad have also been exposed after the arrest of Dr. Ghulam Nabi Fai. Nazir Ahmad Shah and Abdul Majid Trumbu could not be dispatched to New York to assist Mirwais for fear of being arrested by the U.S. authorities. The non-appearance of any other credible Kashmiri from AJK government, AJK opposition, civil society from AJK, people from Srinagar Jammu or any part of Jammu and Kashmir or from Kashmiri diaspora at the UN General Assembly goes to prove that Pakistan does not have any credible or reliable interest or understanding of the best interests of the people of Kashmir except for using Kashmir to create a temporary hype to nudge into the ribs of India and cause a timely discomfort or embarrassment. On the Kashmiri part, it is unfortunate that in comparison to President Abbas and his delegation at the UN, Kashmir has been reduced to Mirwais and 3 Kashmiris, who have become subjects of interest for FBI and USA. We should thank our stars that so far there is no spillover of FBI affidavit in the case of Dr. Ghulam Nabi Fai. Americans could turn very nasty if they decide to elaborate and interpret the FBI affidavit in a different manner, making its reach to the doormats of our senior Kashmiri leaders. Such a situation could land Mirwais in a very difficult situation during his stay in USA. It is high time that we revisit the character of our political representation and the manner in which we are being debated and talked about inside and outside Kashmir. If we are an equal people as good as the people of Palestine, we need to check the ownership of leadership claimed on our behalf through the courtesy of Islamabad in the case of separatists and Delhi in the case of mainstream politicians. It is hypocritical that we continue to ridicule and demand accountability of mainstream politicians and let go the separatists domiciled in Srinagar or their likes maintained in Islamabad for their rights and wrongs. We need to interfere in the interests of defenseless people, armed only with their dreams, courage, hope and slogans in the face of bullets. Unless we do that, no leader would be able to say enough, enough, enough in the UNGA. They would continue to remain subjects of a very poor political narrative and false hypes created in Geneva and London. We have to challenge the ownership of Kashmir politics in all the areas, namely, political and diplomatic. It can be possible if we take ourselves out of the winter of fear caused by falling prey to private benefits and politics of comfort. Author is London-based Secretary-General of JKCHR, NGO in special consultative status with the United Nations and can be mailed at dr-naziagilani@jkchr.com.